You sound exactly
Who?
like that guy from the guy on whom Jathan makes a lot of videos.
हैं?
Which is that guy जिसके ऊपर जेथन ने बहुत सारे वीडियोस बनाई है. Bro, that clown, that Indian descendant, like that Indian decent clown on Jathan, that lol cow. I can't remember his name. You sound exactly like him.
Nah, not at all, man.
I mean, a little bit like him. But you are ironic. You are keeping it ironic. He is serious about it.
Ace got you.
No, not Ace got you. Ace is cringe for different reasons.
I don't know, man, but I don't really sound like anyone else. I don't know.
No,
In
like
terms of
you
my
sound
belief,
like him, but I know you are being ironic.
Who?
Bro, I can't remember the name of the guy. Sub 5 memory.
Yeah, but I am not being ironic. I am speaking really. If in this moment, in this black pilled consciousness, I would have ER'd right away if I was a Chad right now, because then I would still not get brutalized, right? Like they would be making edits on me. I'm fucked up. I'm black and blue. I'm built for
Shut the fuck up. This is just so annoying. It's so annoying when you try to sing.
I'm not trying to sing. I was just. It was a parody type of stuff, man. I was not trying to sing.
This is such a laid back podcast right now.
Yeah, and you need to delete that laid back podcast where you just doxed me.
Yeah, I've already deleted that.
Yeah, like a good boy.
Shut the fuck up. Like, how did I dox you? I maybe accidentally showed you a picture if I recall correctly.
Yeah. I was looking good though in that. I was probably like MTN, HTN.
Bro, why were you asking me if you can get Bengali pussy if you are HTN and 5'9"? Like, is that your aim in life?
No. So I was in a misunderstanding. My epiphyseal plates are not done. I checked them wrongly.
But why do you think you are capped at 5'9"?
Yeah, I thought they were closed.
So there is hope, and you don't need to rope.
Yeah, I was probably going to Himalaya.
Yesterday
Max.
when I was talking to Harsh, he was casually dropping, maybe your life is different and you just have to rope max when he was advising how to. Maybe your life is different and you just have to rope max. Like the most casual sentence ever.
Yeah, but that's what some people are destined to, right? You can't do anything. And it's because of this sub 5 system, right?
Yeah, man.
Do you think
Like, what is your opinion on drinking this raw blood and shit? Like, majority of the studies on this would tell you you're just gonna get an iron overdose. And there are ways to process blood. There are ways to process blood to where it's edible.
What stuff you are getting? Are you getting some live elixir of Anunnaki gods or some shit like that? Like all the stuff you want from raw blood, you can get it from some powder, right?
Yeah, and there are also ways to cook blood to where it's palatable. It's like these these diets are trying to feed you the most distasteful and like horrible tasting stuff under the garden. Like, bro, these people are like, oh, that child is not eating broccoli. Look, he doesn't want to eat broccoli. Bhai, you try to feed the child raw meat, he's gonna have the same reaction.
Yeah, it's not sometimes, even if you sometimes feed some child ice cream, sometimes he's not going to like it, and there's a coincidence that it can come on camera, right?
Yeah. And it's like some, according to Goddess, it's like some decisive proof that humans are not supposed to eat vegetables. Bitch, there are little hyper carnivores who consume.
There is a funny thing. What he said that you know why these Japanese and Chinese people are look so young is because they eat raw fish in their some traditional dish.
Brutal. Bro, like literally
They
hyper
have this type of
carnivores.
IQ because they
Listen
eat
to me.
a
Shut the
lot of
fuck up and listen
vegetables.
to me. Let me get this across. Literal hyper carnivores include plants in their diet. There is no animal on earth which is completely herbivorous or completely carnivorous. You would actually notice. I've actually noticed dogs and cats sometimes chew on certain types of grasses to get some fiber in their diet.
Yeah, true notice, sir.
And you'd often also notice cows sometimes running their mouth on chicks, and elephants sometimes
And
invading. Yes, cows sometimes consume.
your voice got cut. You need to speak again that one line you said about cows and
You
elephants.
sometimes see cows trying to eat, or even straight up eating um, baby chickens. You would even notice hippos consume zebra corpses, steal zebra corpses from crocodiles about once a year.
Okay.
And there are many examples where horses eat snakes, and what do you call it? Um, elephants invade the nests of birds and consume the eggs. No animal is really a complete herbivore or a complete carnivore.
Yeah.
Like
And you need to make
the
video
way
on
the human digest
Acharya start.
the way the human digestive tract is shaped, humans are supposed to be like a carnivore which has some specialization for processing grains and vegetables, like the small intestine. Like our stomach is hyper specialized for breaking down meat, and then we have somewhat of a specialization for breaking down carbohydrates. Though we cannot really
Yeah.
break down complex carbohydrates in the same way we can break down simple carbohydrates. But we still need. But again, look at those animals, right? Look at those animals like not cows, like dogs and cats. They have absolutely no ability to digest any carbohydrates, but they still consume some complex carbohydrates in the form of grass, just so they can shit better, right?
Yeah.
So this idea that these people have that fiber is bad for you, there is no proof behind this. Literal actual carnivores, complete carnivores, consume fiber to shit a little bit better at times.
And you know the story about I told you, right? I tried to explain hypergamy to my parents.
Yeah, true retard, man. Why were you trying to explain hypergamy to your parents? This is like trying to. Come on, man. This is just so low.
Why? Like I just had to, you know.
But why would you do that? This is so autistic.
Yeah, I am right. This is so autistic, but I am.
Like you are right on the verge of mentally collapsing or some shit. Like trying to explain hypergamy to your parents.
And you know what father said?
What did he say?
Yeah, that's some Western propaganda, and all the studies are fake.
That's Western propaganda.
And all the studies are fake. They fund fake stuff. And
Okay. Now, bro, we're gonna have a discussion on Jews at some point in the future, and my channel is probably gonna get blown up. But I kind of disagree with you on a lot of points, and you probably disagree
no,
with me on a lot of
no,
points. But
no.
yeah,
You
it would be
just settle
fun.
it once and for all now. No, no, you got to settle it. I'm not saying that you know you should just destroy Max every single Jew and stuff like the Austrian chat did. But I'm saying that you know
You know,
most people that are visible to the the average audience are in fact Jews. So you know you need to consider that. I'm not. You are saying that you're justifying their stuff, but
I'm not
I'm not saying.
justifying this stuff. No one can justify evil, but you have to consider something. If there's a population which is naturally more high IQ and their population has an equal distribution of good people and bad people, there's gonna be a greater number of bad people who also have the means to get their stuff done. That it's
Yeah.
not because they are more evil than any other people. They are overrepresented. The Ashkenazi Jews are overrepresented on both sides of the spectrum of great good and great evil. And by and large, I would tell you it's more about capitalism and people who run society than it is about a
Yeah.
particular ethnicity or a particular people.
Yeah, agree on all that, but I am saying that yes, agree they are evil and stuff, but we need to take them out of that evil positions. That is the whole point.
Yeah, that is true. And it,
We can't do. I mean, of course, we can't do that, but spreading general awareness about that is the thing.
and because you said yesterday, not yesterday, but like a long while ago, you said something along Jews being the killers of Christ. Well, here's something: the Jews who were involved in the killing of Christ, they were a minority group of Hebrew Jews. Hebrew Jews don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, whatever. Still, they did it right.
Bro, no, it wasn't the same group. It wasn't the same group. It was.
Religion too, right?
It
It was the
wasn't the
religion
same
too.
group. Hebrew Jews were taken out by the Christian crusaders in the first crusade when they cleansed every Muslim and Jew from the walls of Jerusalem. Hebrew Jews don't exist. Everyone who exists now is either an Ashkenazi or a Sephardic Jew or a Mizrahi Jew.
Yeah, so that was in general a religion problem too, right?
Yeah, and also something I wanted to discuss for a long while. There's this conception that Jews were kicked out of 109 countries. Well, that's just bullshit. There were no 109
No,
countries at
that is
that
not
time.
bullshit. You are now coping.
Bro, like you can make the same argument about Christians. Christians were kicked out of almost all of North Africa. They were kicked out of some
Yeah,
parts of Southern Europe.
almost
Are you going to
all
make the
of,
same
almost
argument
all of
about
North
Christians?
Africa versus every single almost every single country. You are
No, they were
doing a
not
nice
kicked out of
comparison.
almost every single country. They were kicked out of every single country which was Christian or Muslim.
Yeah,
And Muslims
109
and
countries to
Christians
be
have always done
accurate.
that to each other as well. There were guys in India who
Yeah,
quite literally
109
raised.
countries.
There were
109
guys in
countries
India.
to be accurate.
There were guys in India who quite literally made up fake companies so they could hire Jews and save their lives in the Second World War.
Yeah. I mean, of course, they got us too, right? You seen our defense minister praying at the Western Wall.
But that's not what it is. Like, I have general disagreements with Judaism because, again, it is a religion, and I do not really subscribe to any worldview which has religious dogma involved. But I believe a lot of the idea that people have about Jews as a single group being responsible for all of this. I don't think so. Number one. And number two is it's the Ashkenazi Jews who are overrepresented in both sides of the political spectrum. The intellectual spectrum. People who are doing all of the bad stuff and people who are doing all of the good stuff. You can tell me that they invented social media. You can tell me that they invented transgender surgery and shit like that. But then on the opposite end, there's people who invented psychology. They made massive contributions to psychology, and they were being based like Sigmund Freud, right? There's people like Albert Einstein. There's people like Bohr.
Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, they are very, like, I have very much respect for them.
And then there's people like Niels Bohr and Albert Einstein. But the guy who invented the microphone was also born into a Jewish family. Like sometimes people have to agree that on both sides of the spectrum, you're going to have people who are very high IQ. And even I'm not justifying their evil. The subsection of Ashkenazi Jews who are evil, I'm not justifying them, but it's kind of expected.
Yeah, agree. But we can also agree that if the Austrian child finished his job, he would be happy right now.
No, you would not have a microphone. You would not have. वैसे अच्छा ही होता है. If it
No,
was,
but somebody would have
if,
invented.
I'm not
It's
gonna
not
lie.
like
If they did not, if they offed all of those Jewish scientists, you probably wouldn't have to study all of this in school. Yeah. So this is just a
What did you
joke. This is just a joke. We are kidding, of course. That was very important for human development.
Repeat.
that was just a joke. All of that was important for human development, inventing relativity and atomic structure. That was important. But yeah, if they were off, then we'll probably not have to
But
study this
still
shit in
somebody
school.
would have invented it. Not like that only they can invent, somebody else would have.
But bro, our civilization would have been pushed back by like tens of years, if not hundreds.
That doesn't even matter if you are living a happy life, right? If you are living a happy life, that doesn't even matter.
This is like saying I can do this, but I'm just lazy.
Don't know if you can say that to it exactly, but
Yes,
we would have at least been more peaceful and stuff.
I think by and large, when people are pinning the blame only on Jews, it's just making them a scapegoat. Like sometimes people have to realize that the scapegoats and the ones who are making those guys the scapegoats are probably on the same team. They're probably on the same team,
Yeah,
anyways.
a lot of people think that oh, this guy is talking against Jews and this guy is talking against this, but they are most probably controlled ops.
No, I'm telling you that the particular Jews that they point to, they're from the capitalist class themselves. They are the ones leading society, and those guys criticizing them, they're also the ones leading society. Like it's just two groups of the elite going against each other. Like, by the way, this has always been that. It has always been that way.
But still, Austrian Chad would have done a very good job if he
No, I don't
finished his
believe
job.
that. You know that I'm never gonna say that would have been great.
Yeah, of course, because he would be coping hard.
Also, let's talk about the history of Jews. This idea that they're kicked out of every single place. Now, let me get this straight. The early Jews, they sent missionaries to different parts of the world, and native people from those parts of the world converted to Judaism. There were Persian people, Iranian people who converted to Judaism. Um, there were European people who converted to Judaism. That's the Ashkenazi Jews and the Sephardic Jews. There was even a group of Turks who converted to Judaism, and they were the Khazar Empire, right? Probably know about this.
What about the Indians?
There was no. There was no Jewish missionary activity in India at large, and
But there are still some minority of Jew here, right?
yeah, I might have to look into that later. In fact,
So there are some Rajasthan
you know
or
the
some.
Zoroastrians, right? You know the Zoroastrians, right?
Yeah.
Cyrus, the king of the Achaemenid Empire, was actually considered a prophet in the Old Testament by the Jews. They were not kicked out of Iran by the Zoroastrians. They were only kicked out of Iran after um, Iran converted to Shiite Islam. In fact, it might be true that the Sunni Muslims also had their reservations against the Jews, but in general, the Jews were treated pretty good by the Sunni Muslims compared to how some Christian countries would have treated them, and they were not kicked out of those places. And I think what happened during the Second World War is a lot of these places like Iran and the Middle East were also allies with Hitler, so they had those same ideologies. And besides their own personal dislike of Jews being Muslims.
You said the word.
Bro, all right. I just said Hitler. This video was not gonna get demonetized anyway. Like
Yeah. Like,
this is
YouTube
gonna
doesn't
be
even pay
demonetized
you.
anyway.
YouTube
It's
doesn't
not
even
like
pay
it's
you,
not
right?
like I'm gonna get any revenue off this. We just do this shit for fun.
Yeah. Okay, I might have to go. Okay.
So that's when these guys were pushed out of their country. So I personally believe that Israel shouldn't exist because that is just occupying the land of those people. But again, you have to consider the centuries of oppression and misbehavior those guys had to face in their homelands, right? Let's say, what is the substitution for Israel? Places like Iran take back the Mizrahi Jews and give them full citizenship rights. Not going to happen, right? Because Iran still has those laws where non-Muslims are treated like second-class citizens, not just Jews. Europe would never take back the Sephardic Jews and the Ashkenazi Jews. They are actually making a good a buck of selling weapons to those guys and funding the war in the Middle
What do
East.
you think? Who would win if they fight? Israel or Iran?
Israel might just have to pull out the nukes a bit early.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can do shit against Israel because, of course, they control everything.
I don't think they control everything. They are Europe's cash cow from the Middle East. That's where you get it wrong. If they are
Okay, listen,
constantly
I
fighting,
might
they
have to
get to
go.
sell arms to them all
Yeah,
the time.
nice scope, nice scope. Yeah, did not read, did not listen. Bye.
Yeah.